Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to another video. Jack here. So today I wanted to make a quick video about becoming a software developer, especially in the space of potential career changes, moving into the industry if you don't have a degree. So yeah, I wanted to make a quick sort of breakdown of the key points that I'd sort of suggest looking into and how I'd go about becoming a software developer if I had to do it all over again. Some quick context. I am in the software space. I'm a software engineer. I'm an analyst developer. I have no degree. I have come from a background of workplace apprenticeships and moving myself in my spare time over into the software industry. I think it's a great way to transition into that sort of career, so I'm a big advocate for it. So yeah, let's get started with the video. Okay, so I think the first important and most important thing, if you will, when it comes to becoming a software developer is the mindset that you have, especially around problem solving. You may already be good at problem solving and apply that in other areas of your life, but I'd say the main thing to consider here is when you are working on a problem, be it in software, in real life, whatever it is, you need to change that attitude towards if you hit a brick wall, you don't look for another alternative. You don't look for a way around that wall, you look for a way to get through that wall. There's lots of scenarios you'll bump into where you feel like you don't have the answers, and developing that mindset, working through the problem, breaking it down into manageable bite-sized chunks that you can solve. The key is to just keep moving forward. It's rewarding. You'll find that you make progress, even if it is incremental, with that mindset. And that's not only within the day-to-day job of a software developer, it's becoming a software developer. You need to break that down into manageable chunks. Sort of tying in with that would be learning to ask the right questions. I think that's probably one of the second, if not maybe the first most important thing is, I think starting with the right question always leads you in the right direction. It also helps when you've got mentors around you or you've got Google. Google is one of my biggest advocates. Everyone says it, Google has all the answers, and it's true. I think software development is a mindset, and I think that the tools that you have around you, you've got to be able to utilize them. That's the main thing. Betters you as an individual, betters you as a developer. Before you know it, you won't need to make those Google searches. You'll know how to do those things, but the key is asking the right question. And I'll go into that in more detail in maybe other videos, if it's something of interest, of how to ask those right questions. Kind of tying back into what we originally talked about, it's also very important that what you're working on excites you. I think when you're trying to transition or move careers, or even if it's your first job, if you're going to work on like a home project, I think it's important that home project is of interest to you. I know a lot of people, when you sort of look online as to what to build as a first application, there's lots of ideas, but you tend to read through the list and you're like, none of these really truly interest me. And if you find one, great. But I tend to find when I have something that is a bit of a project of passion, I just get sucked into it, and that's when you're the most productive, you learn the most, and you just tick things off quicker. And momentum is key when you're learning. I'd say if you had a friend or you knew someone who had their own small business, or potentially even yourself, if you have something of interest, it doesn't have to be professional grade, but just something you'd like to put together, set it as a goal. It may feel like it's too far out of reach for you to be able to do, or there are too many missing pieces of information to achieve that goal. But if you don't start with something in mind, it's going to be really hard for you to figure out what does and doesn't interest you. I think setting a big goal, working through the micro, and I think kind of tying back in with that, don't be afraid to go around to your local small businesses and offer them a free website. I know it may be intimidating. You can get on Google Maps, look in a 5-mile radius, and if there's emails, drop a bunch of emails out there. I'm looking to do a free website for a portfolio piece. Would you mind me putting something together with you? And it doesn't have to be web design that you're interested in. And I think I'll touch on this later, but a lot of people, they get lost in which language to learn and what order to learn them in. It's not the end of the world if you don't know what languages to prioritize. Like I say, the biggest challenge is that mindset, that programming mindset. Once you master that mindset, you can do whatever you want in the programming space. And it's a really freeing feeling when you realise that you can apply yourself and your sort of vast knowledge of what you can do in programming to any language and be useful, be an asset. That would be a pretty big tip from me. So I think another big challenge that I had in the software space would be around knowing what interviewers were looking for when it came to becoming a software developer. You know, how do I need to apply myself in a way that's attractive for companies to want to buy into me and believe, even though I don't have that degree or I don't have maybe a career history to back up that I can be an asset to them. How can I prove that to them? And I'd say, I think the best thing you can do, you've heard it probably before, but is a portfolio. Create your own website and use it as a way to show yourself off, to show yourself off, but use it as a pillar to create, you know, a platform where you can celebrate what you've done, your work. It's almost like a collection of memories of stages in your career, because you'll look back 5-10 years down the line, and if you follow this through, you can look back and see how far you've come, and you can see where you've progressed, and you know, you can almost laugh at where you started and realize how amazing the journey is once you start that momentum. When you land in a job, you'll be surrounded with like-minded people that will all want you to succeed. Hopefully, you know, you get in a good environment and mentors there to help you along your journey, and that's great. That's what you want, and I think that's the key to remember here, is that, you know, when you start, you want something like a portfolio that you can document your journey and keep bolstering your skills, you know, keep adding to. So that's definitely a big tip. Also, another quick tip, I would recommend not worrying too much about the languages. The key is that when we talk about languages, there's so many options, there's so many areas to focus and advantages, disadvantages to certain languages. You can almost feel like, I'll prioritize JavaScript, and then, you know, 12 months later you wish you'd started looking in a different direction, maybe down C#, or, you know, the problem is that everyone's going to have an opinion, especially in the software space, about what's the best language or the best beginner friendly languages. There are certainly languages that are more friendly and maybe more easily understandable for an entry level developer, but the key is, you know, focus on the mindset, focus on working towards a developer's mindset to applying yourself to problem solving, working through, when you hit those barriers, which you will hit, how we get through them, how we don't work around them, we get through those issues, and then you will apply yourself to any language. I can do a follow-up video, maybe talking about some intros to certain languages, if that's of interest. Drop me a comment down below if anyone's got specific areas of interest. I'm a full stack developer. I apply myself in a lot of different ways because I enjoy that. I don't class myself as a master developer in every language. I don't think anyone would. I enjoy learning new languages. I enjoy applying myself to different areas, and that's you know, it's rewarding for me. And I think if, you know, you got into sort of learning development and I think this is where I say, like, you know, create a portfolio website. Throughout that process, you know, you could integrate using databases, storing your data. You could have the front end, which will all be like front end dev, UI dev, and we can even talk about potentially putting in some middleware there, and you can just sort of get a good feeling of the different areas of development, you know, and try to find when something feels right, and you can run away with that then. But yeah, the key is just to start, just to do something. Don't worry if you don't have an idea, you know, just to do something. I can maybe think about putting together a list of potential project ideas, but like I said earlier, it's sometimes dangerous going off someone else's list, because they're all ideas that I'd have in my head that you may not find interesting, and there's nothing worse than trying to develop something that you hate. I'd say, you know, just start, just do something. It's better than nothing, you know. And I think finally, enjoy the process. All along the way, you'll get advice from loads of people as to what you shouldn't be doing. And sometimes you can get lost in, where am I actually at in the journey? Am I interview ready? Am I able to do this? And I can understand the frustration, because when you want to transition into that career, it's always waiting for when. But I think one of the things I would say is that if you take sort of enjoyment and happiness from the journey and enjoy the process of learning, you will learn and you will get to that point where you are ready to be employable. If it's not now, it's not far away, but the key is to enjoy the process, enjoy the fact that you're bettering yourself and your ability, and lots of doors open when you learn this skill, and it's a freeing feeling, so use that as motivation to keep going. Hopefully I'll see you as a software developer sooner rather than later. Cheers for watching, guys. That's me. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.